You ever get that feeling of economic whiplash? It's like 1 minute you're reading headlines about a record-breaking market and this insane AI gold rush, and the next you're hearing about your favorite stores closing down and you're feeling that squeeze on your own budget. You're not imagining it. We are living in a tale of two economies, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack right now.
So here's the plan. First, we're going to lay out this great economic divide. Then we'll jump straight into the AI boom you keep hearing about. After that, we'll get a reality check on what's happening with everyday consumers. We'll also look at the wild cards coming out of Washington. And finally, we'll tie it all together to see what it means for you.
So, what is going on here? Why does everything feel so contradictory? Well, the simplest answer is probably the most honest one. Because it is. Right now, our economy is telling two completely different stories at the exact same time. On one side, you've got the boom. We're talking about mind-boggling investments in AI, tech companies reaching incredible new heights. It feels like the future is here, right now. But then, on the other side, you've got the bust. You see retail brands we grew up with struggling, you see stocks for consumer companies just plummeting, and a lot of people are feeling the pressure. So let's look at each side, starting with that incredible boom. All right, let's dive into that first story, the AI gold rush. And I mean, this isn't just some passing trend. This is a tidal wave of money and innovation that is changing entire industries faster than we can keep up. To really get a sense of this scale we're talking about, look at this number. Microsoft is reportedly pouring $100 billion into OpenAI. I mean, just let that sink in. That's not just an investment. That is a massive, world-changing bet on where the future is going. And, this isn't just a Silicon Valley thing. It is absolutely global. Over in China, a driverless tech startup called Momenta is raising money at a valuation of around $6 billion. Clearly, the appetite for AI innovation knows no borders. So where's all this cash coming from? Well, a Goldman Sachs survey shows the world's wealthiest families are going all in on AI. But here's what's really interesting. You'd think it's all about splashy startup deals, right? Nope. Look at this chart. Over half of their investment is going into public stocks. That tells you they have huge confidence, not just in AI, but in the big established tech players who are leading this charge. And all this investment has a very real, very human impact. Take a company like Accenture. They already have 77,000 AI professionals, but they're also making some really tough calls. They're planning to retrain over 500,000 employees in AI, while being very upfront that they're going to have to exit people who can't be retrained. This is it, the opportunity and the human cost of the AI boom, all in one place. Okay, so that's one half of the story. Now let's flip the coin and look at the other economy, the one that's playing out on Main Street, in shopping malls, and in your neighbor's house. And here, well, the picture is not nearly as bright. This one number says so much. The used car seller CarMax saw its stock get hammered, dropping 19% in a single day because their earnings were a huge miss. And that's a big red flag, When people stop making big purchases like cars, it tells you they are feeling some serious financial pain. And it's not just CarMax. We're seeing these signs of strain pop up everywhere. Claire's, a place that's been in malls forever, has filed for bankruptcy again. Even a behemoth like Starbucks is closing stores and letting people go. These aren't just random events. They're all pieces of a larger puzzle that points to a weakening consumer. And this feeling of being squeezed, it's not just in the data. It's a cultural vibe. The music producer Jack Antonoff totally nailed it when he called out Live Nation's ticket prices. It really taps into this widespread feeling that the cost of, everything, from a concert ticket to a carton of eggs, is just getting out of control. CNBC's Jim Cramer really just says it outright. He draws a hard line between this booming, cash-flush AI world and the consumer economy, which he says is just getting weaker and weaker, crushed by high interest rates. So, as if having two different economies running at the same time wasn't complicated enough, let's add one more layer to this, the wildcards coming out of Washington. Political decisions and policy fights are stirring the pot and affecting everyone. First up, we've got the constant threat of a government shutdown. You have this standoff where Democrats want to protect healthcare subsidies in a funding bill right now, and Republicans want to kick that can down the road. This kind of political showdown just creates a ton of uncertainty for the whole economy. Then there's trade policy. A whole new wave of tariffs is about to hit, and some of these numbers are just wild. 100% tariff on certain drugs, 25% on trucks, up to 50% on furniture.
The goal is to boost U.S. manufacturing. But the big question is, will it work, or will it just jack up prices for consumers who are already struggling?
And if you want a perfect example of how politics and business are tangled up, look no further than the whole TikTok drama. A national security law forces a sale, deadlines get pushed back, a massive $14 billion deal gets a thumbs up from the US president, but it all still has to be approved by Beijing. It's just a classic case of global politics putting a huge business deal in total limbo. So we have this massive AI boom, a consumer sector that's getting squeezed, and a bunch of political wildcards thrown in for good measure. What does that all mean? Let's try to pull these two different stories together and figure out what we should be taking away from all this. Okay, here's the new reality, broken down into 3 simple steps. Step 1. The AI boom is creating a ton of wealth and a huge demand for very specific high-tech skills. Step 2. At the same exact time, the average person is feeling the pinch, which puts a lot of pressure on their budgets and on traditional industries like retail. And step 3, the political moves on trade and spending are basically acting like a megaphone, making that divide between the two economies even louder and wider. And at the end of the day, this isn't just some abstract economic discussion. This stuff directly affects you. Your future career might actually depend on how well you can adapt to AI. The prices you pay for things are being hit by both new tariffs and a weaker consumer base. And maybe most importantly, your job security could really depend on which of these two economies your company lives in. Which leaves us with a pretty big question to chew on. In this new world, this economy that's splitting in two, are we heading into a future where the industry you happen to be in, whether you're riding that AI wave or you're stuck in the consumer squeeze, matters more than how hard you work or how talented you are? It's a heavy thought, and it might just be the defining question of our economic future.